All right, so welcome to the start of our SIT writing module. Why do we need to do SIT writing? Now, situational writing is, well, not really new, but it is one of the newer components of the PSLE paper, more recently added, I think maybe 10 years ago. Okay, no, that's not very recent to you. But in the sense of, the history of English papers, PSLE paper in Singapore, SIT writing component is one of the newer ones. Now, why do we have SIT writing? Now, situational writing are these basic three things. Number one, it is authentic. Number two, it is functional. And number three, actually, it's really easy to score for. Okay, what do I mean by authentic? When I say authentic, I mean that we write all the situations that they show you for your SIT writing are plausible. That means that they are likely to happen. They are very realistic. It could happen to you, it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. Why do we do SIT writing? SIT writing is very, very functional. What do I mean by functional? It means that it teaches you a real world skill. You guys, when you all grow up and when you're, I don't think you even need to wait until you all grow up. Even now, do you all guys send emails to each other? Maybe not to your friends, but to your teachers to talk about schoolwork now that you're at home. Maybe you'll write emails to relatives who are not in Singapore. Okay, as we go on, guys, now that we're living in this very modern, technology-driven world, we send emails for everything, right? 10 years ago, maybe not 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we couldn't send emails on the go. If I wanted to send an email, I'd have to sit down in front of my computer, my desktop or a laptop maybe, and send an email out. Now I can pick up my phone and I can send an email anywhere. I could be on the bus, I could be in the train, I can be on the road. This is why we can do all these home-based learning and Zoom lessons, and your parents can do Zoom meetings and all that, because we all have mobile phones. You can send emails anywhere. Okay, so as you guys grow up, you are going to be sending emails to loads of people. Maybe not so much letters anymore, right? We don't really write letters, but an email content, your dear whoever, to yours sincerely, the content is the same as a letter. Okay, so it's a real world skill. You guys are going to be writing millions of emails for the rest of your lives, right? So we teach you how to write proper emails, especially for formal situations, because you will need to send emails to your teachers in future, to your colleagues, to your bosses. It will be an important life skill to learn. So of all the parts of your PSLE paper, this is the most practical part, right? It is a real world skill. Are a lot of you going to grow up and write compos for your living as a job? I don't think so. I think out of all the people in the world, how many writers do we have that earn money for writing stories? Not that many. So compo in that sense is not such a practical skill, but SIT writing is very practical. Everybody, all of you in your lives will definitely send emails and reports. Okay, last thing, easy to score for. Really, 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 really. Do you believe me? It is possible to score full marks for SIT writing. Okay, it is possible. All right, so let's look at this. Why do we need to know this? So today we're going to go through what the markers are looking for. We're going to talk about what common errors they have surfaced so that we can avoid making these mistakes. SIT writing is worth 15 marks. Okay, and you can score all these marks. It is possible. If you find it very unrealistic to think that you can score 15 marks, well, I can tell you 12 to 15 is very possible. Okay? All right, so let's look at the marking rubric. Okay, situational writing worth 15 marks. Task fulfillment is worth 6 marks. And language is worth 9 marks. All right, so let's look at task fulfillment. What does task fulfillment mean? It means that you have answered the question. Have you answered the question or not? So first thing we need to do, make sure we are writing to the correct audience. I will also say that different schools may have slightly different guidelines. Okay, it doesn't matter, because for in a tuition class, we've got kids from every school, from lots of schools, right? You guys are not all from the same school. So you guys may have slight differences from school to school, but the general idea will be the same. Okay, so the first thing you need to make sure you get it right. Have you written to the correct audience? Are you writing to the right person? When you write to this person, are you speaking in such a way that is appropriate for this person? For example, if you were writing to your principal, you wouldn't say, "Hey dude, what's up?" Right? That's not appropriate. It sounds terrible. If it's to your friend, maybe you can say, "Hey Firdaus, what's up? How are you?" Right? But you wouldn't say that to your principal. Okay, so correct audience. Next thing, have you written as the right sender? For yourself, you have to kind of pretend that you are this person, right? In the comic, in the task, you are not writing as yourself. You're not writing as yourself, Jaden, or yourself, Daniel. You're writing as this character in the story. Okay, so you need to pretend that you are this person and write in such a way that you are believable. Next thing, have you understood and expressed the purpose of the writing correctly? Why are we writing this thing? Are we writing to ask a question? Are we writing to complain about something? When I read your letter or your email or your report, do I see that it really is complaining, or is it like, you don't really talk about the problem at all? Make sure you fulfill the purpose. Next thing, the context. Have you understood and represented the context? The context is like your story. What is the story here? The story could be, for example, you are a customer at a restaurant and you ordered that dish, your favorite food, and then you found a dead cockroach in your meal. That is your storyline, the context. Okay? Have you answered all the given bullet points? Now, you must answer all the bullet points. They are there for a reason. You must make sure that you address all of them. And the last one, of course, they give you a very nice comic or a cartoon to read. Have you used the information correctly? That means in the cartoon, if the restaurant that you're eating at is called, let's say it's eating at McDonald's, right? If the restaurant in the fast food restaurant in the picture is McDonald's, did you go and write Texas chicken in your situation writing? Cannot, right? Because it's supposed to be McDonald's. So you must read the comic accurately. Don't change things that you don't have to change. Make sure that you use it properly. Okay, so that's task fulfillment. So you want to make sure that we have all these things. And this is really easy to get your full 6 marks for, because this is just answering the question. Did you write to the correct audience? Very easy. Did you write to the correct sender? Also very easy. Yes, as long as you answer everything that is there. Okay, they usually have like 5 dots in that sense, so that's what we call bullet points. Okay, so purpose, all these are really easy to just make sure you fulfill. Have you done this? Tick, 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 tick. If you have done everything, it is very easy to get your full 6 marks. Okay, the part where you may lose marks is more for your language and organization, which is 9 marks. So for example, punctuation. Yes, we may make punctuation mistakes. Hi, Sinwan. Okay, have you made any spelling mistakes? Yes, we may also make some spelling mistakes. All right. Errors in Concord, your subject-verb agreement. I'm just going to write this up here. It stands for subject-verb agreement. So like, for example, you would say, I am. You would not write I is, which is wrong. Okay. So that's just subject-verb agreement. Make sure you use the correct subjects and verbs. Okay. Tenses and verb forms, are they accurate? That means if you're writing in past tense, you must make sure you're consistently in past tense. If it's supposed to be present tense, then you write present tense, etc., etc. Okay, so tenses and verb forms. Next thing, you need to link the things accurately and effectively. So you cannot just jump from one thing to another. You must make it flow in a nice way. It has to sound like a nice, interesting letter that people want to read. Okay? Are your content points presented in a logical way? This is organization. So for example, if you were writing a letter to invite someone for a birthday party, let's say, okay, you wouldn't say, oh, we are having a party. It will be at this place at this time. I hope you can come. And then in your last line, you say, oh, by the way, it is for my grandmother. No, that's important. We need to know who the party is for. So that information should be in front. Dear whoever, I am having a birthday party for my grandmother. It will be held on this day and time. We are holding this party because, or at this restaurant because she really loves this restaurant. We hope you can be there. Let me know whether you can make it, right? And then love whoever. So it makes to make sure that it's logical. It makes sense. It has to flow. You cannot just throw in bits here and there, and then it becomes like very piecemeal, very all over the place. Okay. All right. Phew. So it sounds like a lot of things, but it's actually not. Most of these things are instinctive. We already do them. I'm just telling you what the markers are looking out for.